All right. We should be live. Let me know if the audio is fine, everybody. What is up, guys? Let's do a quick audio check in the chat. Let me know if the audio is good, too loud, too low. Either way, let me know. What's up, AL? What's up, 4V? What's up, Lotex? All right, great. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Matthew. Hope you're well, man. How's the weekend going for you guys? Anything special? Good evening, Jer. Hope you're well, man. Hey, Abbas. Audio great. That's great, bro. What's up? We've got Razor with us as well. What's up, man? Hope you're well. Janal, Dias. Hey, guys. Kevin as well. We've got Jack. That's great, man. We've got a good group here. Vertical as well. What's up? Good evening, man. Let's give it a minute, okay? Let's give it a minute. Let's see if I got everything that I want. Yes, I do. We've got Sierra chart. We've got the layout, regular chart. We've got the prep set up, and we've got the news. We've got a stacked news event, guys, this week. Like, oh my gosh. What's up? Make it happen. Liking the name. I'm liking the name. We've got Diaz as well. Hey, man. So today's going to be, you know, back to the roots. We're going to do the prep. We're breaking it down, like, with everything, because I think it's going to be a very important week this week. We've got a huge week in terms of news, and we've got, you know, Bitcoin is auctioning towards the highs, but there's being, you know, we're going to be covering everything. I'm just going to be giving it 2 more minutes and then we're kicking it off. But if we're taking a look at this daily profile here, guys, I mean, come on, man. Look at the interaction. Like, look at the amount of effort that's being put into this profile, auctioning it higher. Like, it's insane. It truly is insane, which is why I think, you know, around that level is going to be what we need to be paying attention to. But again, we'll cover it. We'll cover it. We've got Gravier. Gravier, let me know if I pronounced your name right. Gravier sounds like a Pokemon, bro. That's fire. Epic pen, no sir, definitely not. We've got, the thing that I'm drawing with, this one, with zooming in and stuff like that. What's up, Richies? Hope you're well, man. So it's not Epic pen. This is called Zoom It on Windows. Let me type it out for you. So it allows me to zoom in and annotate stuff. It's called Zoom It. That's the one, right? So let me get one more sip of my tea. Is everybody ready to go? Oh, damn, that's hot. Let me just put it there. Let me put it. You know, I don't want to put it that close because I'll mess up and it'll spill off my keyboard. Yes, that's a great question. Yes, we can indeed consider it as a shifting condition here, guys. However, we've got something else. We've got another week. And we're going to be going over that. It is 7:35 p.m. my time. So, you know, I just put the kids to bed. I have a nice cup of tea here. No coffee for me because I'll be tripping my balls off if I take a coffee right now in bed. So, what's up, Dashi? All right, let's get it going. For those of you who are within the Discord, you know, you already know how it goes. But for those of you who aren't, I like to utilize a certain prep. Usually I do these things on a daily basis where I do every day a daily prep. Right now I've called it a weekly prep. But, you know, if you want to know what we do on a daily basis, this is basically what we're doing to, you know, to see where we want to be trading for today. So first off, recording the stream, and, you know, in this event, doesn't really matter because I am live streaming. Today's the 15th of December. Tick size within Sierra chart remains 95. Impact for news events. Let's take a look at the Forks Factory here because that's a stacked week. And, you know, I think the main drivers this week are going to be FOMC. Like, these are going to be the main drivers. We also have core PCE on Friday, and, you know, we've got PMI on Monday. So basically we've got a stack week, but I think majority of the meat will be highly dependent on the FOMC that we'll have. So, you know, it's good that we are going to be aware of this. I'm not going to be writing every single news event down within today's prep, right, within this weekly prep. But, you know, guys, we are aware that we got a really big week. So let's see what what comes out of it. The main driver will be FOMC in my opinion. Moving forward, recent developments, right? In terms of market profile, we're going to be starting off within CR chart. Now, the reason why I'm choosing CR chart over TradingView at this point in time is because I want to be able to have everything within a single pane. If I do that within CR chart, profiles are disappearing and stuff like that. I've made them aware of the issues. I hope they will resolve it soon. But until they do, I'm sticking to CR chart. So first things first, and we're going to be going over the daily profiles later on, but I think the most important takeaway here is that if we are going to move towards this side of the screen, I think the most important takeaway here heading into the week is that we've got, last week I mentioned the fact that we had 1, 2, 3 weeks of overlapping value, right? This is key. This was our 3-week composite. However, if we merge all those weeks together, let's merge them, right? Let's merge that week. That gives us a weekly composite, a 3-week composite with a value area high and a value area low within this region. Taking a look at where we are currently trading, I think it is safe to say that look at the interaction, right? We were able to accept above, let me just make sure that I have the value area right, because I already adjusted it towards the new 4-week composite. However, Bitcoin pushed above that 3-week composite value area high, tried to break back within, failed to do so, which ended up being the low, and then we saw this consolidation, right, followed by expansion higher. So I mean, it's not a real surprise that Bitcoin is going auctioning higher, because purely based on TPO, it was unable to accept back within that 3-week composite. Now we're auctioning above, and it looks like if we were to do this within its own profile again, right, zoom in here, to me, this side of the screen is looking like this week has at least a 50% overlap with the previous composite. Now, what does that mean? It means to me, it's a clear sign that I need to be adding this week within the previous 3 weeks, which will give us a 4-week composite. Everybody following along, right? 4-week composite, right click, merge within the profile. That gives us a upcoming 4-week composite. The 4-week composite value area high that we're going to be trading this week is based on a value area. Let me just get this right there. We've got a value area high around 101.3K. Let me just put that in the prep. Forming a 4-week, let me just get my microphone a bit out of the way, otherwise I can't type. So we're forming a 4-week composite with the value area high at 101.300 and the value area low at, let me just go back towards the hour chart, 94.7. I already have these annotated within the chart, so we'll know the exact price points. But what did I say? 94.7. 94.7. Very low at 94.7, right? So to me, this already tells me, like if I show you guys that on this chart right here, this is the chart that we'll take a look at once this is all done, right? To me, going into this week, we've got a 4-week composite value area high, the 4-week point of control, and the 4-week value area low. And these are going to be the most important pivots for me that I want to be trading. If there's going to be a large flush, because make no mistake, there's a huge amount of effort being put into this, this little leg upwards. Like there's a big amount of effort here putting into this leg. If there's going to be a sweep of the high and we break back below that 4-week value area high, I mean, we're heading back towards the lows. I think that's a given, right? I mean, we don't want to see that. However, if on Monday, let's say that we start auctioning higher and then we flush out all the leverage and then we reclaim the 4-week value area high, if we can do that, then I think this is the long that you want to be taken, and we're going to see that expansion higher towards, I don't know, let's see what a potential destination could be. If we're taking a swing point, that swing high towards this swing low, first destination, I'd say around roughly 112K would be a good destination, right? But again, getting ahead of myself, let's go back towards the hour chart. That's the composite done. That's one thing. Do we have anything else based on TPO? Yes, we do. Well, what do we have? Well, let me show you. If I were to undo this briefly, right here, if we're zooming in within single daily profiles again, we had today is Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday, right? Then I think the bracket from Thursday up until Friday can be considered as a 3-day composite. Don't you guys agree with that? Right? We've got 3 days of overlapping value here. The market isn't really doing anything at all. So let's see how it looks and merge those days together. So right click, merge, right click, merge, and let's zoom back in. Well, what do we have? We opened up the day at the 3-day composite point of control. We then accepted above the composite value area high, and now we're auctioned towards what seems to be a negative value area high there, right? Let me just double check. Yes, it is a negative value area high there. So this is the destination. That's what I want to be aware of, because I think at this point, let's see. Oh, beautiful interaction as well. Look, so I often talk about a shifting condition, and you guys often ask me like, well, how can I determine whether or not we're getting a genuine shifting condition, and what is a fill break above or below a certain pivot? In my opinion, the initial interaction was a fill break above the composite value area high, right? This is not what you want to be looking for longs at. What you want to see is you want to see that gap, right? Do you guys see this gap between the break from value and the actual retest, and then look for longs on a close back above? So super clean trade. I want to be aware of this dynamic within the prep. So let's write it down right here. Weekly prep. So that was the composite. Acceptance above most recent 3-day CVAH composite value area high at, let me just see where that comes in. We've got the value area high around 101.8k, 101.8, 101.8, 101.8k. Otherwise I forget it. What else do we have? Well, I think the final part that I really want to be aware of here is that if we are taking a look at the current structure here, is that, yo, what's up, bro? So right here, is it a surprise that we saw the market auctioning higher? Do you guys remember what I always tell you? Like TPOs like Tetris, right? When we have any form of anomaly in the form of these poor highs here, the market has a reason to go back up to fill in the inefficiencies, similar to why the negative value area high here is a draw on price at the moment, all right? The thing that I want to point out here, though, is that this is a huge amount of volume for a relatively small move. So in my honest opinion, if this ends up being a deviation and we start closing below 102, right, which is where majority of the volume came into the market, that also lines up with that value area high on the weekly composite, guys. Do you remember? If we're getting acceptance back within the composite, I think this will become resistance confluent with the high volume delta pocket there, and we're going to be seeing a reversal towards that point of control at least, okay? So let me just write that down within the prep, and then we're moving towards VWAP. So huge amount of effort being put in today's profile for a relatively small move. And I think I don't have the account on this page here, but I think if you take a look at VLO and you take a look at the on open interest, especially on perps, you can see that there's a huge amount of open interest being built up within this lag higher. So, I think if we're starting to flush into heading into Monday, then those will be in pain. Okay. So moving towards VWAP, let me just cover the chat real quick. Do you keep perp trades open during big economic events? Yes, because I'm a big fan of show me the chart and I will tell you the news. I think economic events, whatnot, I mean, I'm pretty confident that if I wouldn't pay attention to any of it, I would still be looking for longs or shorts at specific price points. So yes, I keep them open, sure. So how to trade when we have just single prints and no retest? Well, at that point, I would argue that you need to be looking for, you can check on extra charts, for example, for high volume delta prints to get, let's say that you open up a chart and, the delta, we have a bar that looks like this. And within that bar, you've got a full print chart that looks like this, right? Where let's say that this is the value area high here and we break a bar above and this is a huge amount of volume. Then it's safe to say that you can look for longs there within the validation below this low, because if you are right, then the initiative activity, right, that caused the single prints above a certain level, if nothing changes fundamentally, this remains support and we could look for higher prices. So you know, that's how I would trade it personally. Just joined. Fuck, missed the live start. You can replay it, man. Just replay it and then just browse through it. We're going to be going over VWAP right now. So VWAP here, right? And of course, all questions, sent them in the chat. I'll cover them all in a bit. So starting off on the yearly, I think it is no surprise that Bitcoin is, you know, is forming a range here. And the main reason why I think that we're forming a range is because this line up here is the standard deviation tree of yearly value, right? We've got yearly VWAP, standard deviation 1, number 2, and number 3. When we were trading here initially, I said, you know, this is so super extended. I would prefer to see some sort of a range here. And for those of you who've been following the streams knew that I've got a swing position from within this block, right? Bit of a clusterfuck because I wanted to add more to the trade. Didn't get the opportunity, so it's still a relatively thin trade here. But, you know, I'll just see how it plays out. In my opinion, if Bitcoin is going to be auctioning higher, I will even allow for a move back all the way down into this block here. But from a structural perspective, in my opinion, this low needs to hold, right? But with that being said, nothing really auctionable. Bitcoin is finding a range at the standard deviation tree on the yearly, and that's about it. On the quarterly, it gets more interesting because we are now trading within the final quarter of the year, and within that quarter, we are also trading within the last month of that quarter. That means that the higher we go within quarterly developing value, the better it will be for us, because once this quarter closes, it will give us a new previous quarterly value. Now, to show you the importance, right here, we accepted above a previous quarterly value high. And usually that's the indication of, you know, a bigger trend. Conversely, right? Let's say that we do this and heading into the year, we don't really do anything at all. And then we retest this level, right? Maybe at that point in time, it starts to line up with this support. In my opinion, that's going to be a really good long opportunity towards 112, 115, 120. I don't know how high we're going to go, but it's going to be a really good long opportunity, right? Conversely, if Bitcoin auctions back within value, then we need to be shifting gears. I don't care what your favorite influencer is telling you on Twitter. When there's a genuine break back within quarterly value, which has been holding price ever since, this is why I said, as long as you trade above 96K, you shouldn't be looking for shorts, higher time frame, right? Because the trend is up. Quarterly value high, support, auctioning higher each time, right? And it, you know, it's starting to look like that compression that we covered as well, right? Where every pullback gets shallower, and then all of a sudden we start to break higher. So let's see how this develops going into the weekly close. But what I do know is that quarterly developing value high remains my bullish line in the high time frame. So prep, where's the prep? I lost the prep. So let's start off with the yearly trading at standard deviation 3. Nothing to trade based on that time frame. The developing quarter value high remains our bullish line in the sand. New previous quarter value in 2 weeks, which will be the next swing trade opportunity, right? That will be the big, you know, quarterly values. Those are the bigger trades. Right here, let's move towards the monthly, right? Let me just wrap up the VWAP, and then we'll do a quick check on the chat. Otherwise, you know, I can't do two things at once, to be honest. It's unfortunate, but I just can't. So the monthly was lining up with the quarterly, and look at this, right? It wasn't able to break below because this is quarterly, monthly value high, right? Wasn't able to close below, wasn't able to close below, wasn't able to close below. Like, this is bullish. No reason to short. And then we're getting a break above, right? And now we're even trading above that monthly developing value high. Cheeky retest here, which is confluent with what I will show you in a bit. And that was my post on Twitter where I said, this is the area for longs, right? Because we shouldn't close below if this is going to be bullish. So monthly, bullish. Let's just wrap that up within the prep. Developing month, short-term support. Previous month, unable to break below. Then we're moving things up towards the weekly right here. And let me just see if I can put them both within the same window. Right here, we have a 30-minute down close candle, or in other words, a 30-minute bullish order block, right? If you want to call it like that, it's support. Within that 30-minute down close candle, we've got a previous week value area high, and we had a monthly developing value area high. In other words, this is the area where you're going to be looking for longs, right? I don't really care if you have limit orders all the way down within the 30-minute block, or you are looking for, you know, the typical sweep of the low, breaking market structure, and then you longing the retest right here that we get right there, right? All in all, it's bullish. And what I think is also important to outline here is that the current week developing value area high is now around roughly 101.2-ish, right? And that is confluent with that weekly composite that we've outlined within TPO. So heading into next week, any dip back into this level, you better pray that it holds the support. Because if it doesn't, then the entirety of the positioning within this bar is underwater, right? Is offside. And when that occurs, well, damn, at that point, we're getting a flush. That is why I said on Twitter in my last post that, you know, if we're going to be revisiting today's low, it should be held as support, because if we break below, shit's going to hit the fan, all right? And at that point, we're going to be targeting much lower prices. So wrapping it up, VWAP. Acceptance above previous week value area high remains confluent with 4-week value area high, aka bullish line in the sand. Okay, so that's that done. Let's take a look at the chat real quick. Any questions so far? Also, are you stacking Ethereum until they finally have their run? What's your target on Ethereum upcoming cycle since it has been lagging? I think Ethereum will play catch up eventually, but I'm not a holder of Ethereum. I'm trading it. And what I want to see on Ethereum is I want to see one dip back within this block here, right? I think if we're getting a sweep into that level, reclaim, then I want to be looking for longs. And I think, you know, what's a destination for Ethereum? I mean, purely based on, you know, this is just guesswork in my opinion, but I don't know, maybe 7K if we're really going to be starting to go for the highs. What was it here? From swing high towards that low, right? Big, you know, this is where we got the initial, let me just zoom in for you guys, right? To the tick, sell off. 1.618 is the first, you know, genuine area where I think if Ethereum is going to be breaking above the highs, then that's the area where we're likely going to be seeing sellers stepping in. Yo, what's up, Grant? Hope you're well, man. Top prediction in timeline, I would say, I don't know. I think that's a really tricky thing to say. If I were to let's just take a brief look at some charts regarding that question. Because I do believe that load layout, one thing that I want to see is the pi cycle. Where are you? You are here, right? If we're taking a look at this signal, the previous times that we saw the red line crossing the green line was a sign of exhaustion. That was when we saw majority of the cycle highs, right? We still have a huge amount of space left between these lines, so there's room. The other chart that I want to see is the 22-day RSI. If I were to draw in a brief channel between these two highs right here, right? This is the channel right there, and then we had a channel right here, right there. I'd say, right, if we take a look at this high, lines up with the channel high. If we take a look at this high, that's the all-time high. These are the lows right here, the actual lows on the lower bands of the channel. So again, we have some room. But once we start trading at the channel high, I will become a bit more cautious. And I think in terms of Bitcoin potential upside, if we're taking a brief look at where we are currently trading, weekly chart, bear with me here. So we're just going to be taking a swing point from that high towards this low, right? No surprise that this is the first consolidation at the 1.618. Expansion above, right? I'd say based on this range, short-term target 110, ultimately 155, maybe something along those lines. I mean, that would be great, right? What else? Does that make sense, by the way? Let me just go back towards this. Right click, reset chart view. Let's go back within this. I would love your thought. Yeah, we're going to be going over some altcoins in a bit. How do you define acceptance? I just went over that. If you're unsure, scroll back within the stream. I covered that. What do you think about chill, guy? I think it's pretty chill, but we can take a look in a bit. Candle close time frame, 30-minute bar for me. I haven't checked. Do you guys think this cycle high is different? I mean, that's the famous meme, right? This time it's different. I don't really care, bro. Like, the thing that I'll pay attention to is my technical indicators. Do I see exhaustion? Do I see what I want to see for a cycle high? Have I made life-changing money, or is there currently money within my pocket that I think this can change stuff for me? Then I'm cashing it the fuck out. I don't care what your altcoin is. It's still garbage, right? It's just a way to get more money. So yeah, we're looking for 150k definitely. Yeah, bro, Cups is pushing towards 100k a piece at least, bro. Cups is legit. Like, big shout out to those guys. All right. Nonetheless, weekly prep. So if I were to summarize this, right, I'd say Bitcoin looks great as long as it trades above the upcoming 4-week value area high, right? I think that is the main play. And that value area high is at 101.3k. Due to the amount of leverage being put into this high dash effort, should there be a flush lower on Monday, it is going to be one that I am willing to bid as long as it trades and holds above the 4-week value area high. Acceptance back within that weekly composite. So by that I mean acceptance below 101.3 right here. Acceptance below this value area high back within the weekly composite would be bearish and make way for a move towards the point of control, at least, which is at, and that point of control that is at 98k. All right, period. So that brings me towards the narrative, the weekly narrative. What do we want to see? What are we going to be taking a look at? Well, in my opinion, I'm already long from this low right here within this block. So we had that shift above the 3-week value high. It was somewhere up here. And then we formed an hourly down close candle here before we went upwards again. And I said, for the guys that are in the Discord, I said, this is why I said, if there's going to be a pullback, this genuinely needs to hold a support for continuation towards the highs. If you got into that long, then I think this is going to be, this right here, right now, is a good area to at least take a chunk of profits, mainly due to the fact that we're having a slow grind higher, and it's mainly with leverage being built up. So I could see like one final spike above this shelf here, and then we'll have to see what happens next. But I think, we're comfortable within longs here. This is definitely a good area to start looking for some profits, not the entire bag, maybe 40% or some, and let 60% ride for a potential break above the highs. On Monday, right, the most important thing here is that we've got a range high and a range low right there. And then right click, reset chart scale. Let me just, why is this so ass on TradingView? Damn. In my honest opinion, if there's going to be this spike above that ledge, then, on Monday we get boom, we get a flush. I don't know how low we're going to go. Maybe we're going all the way down here, but who knows, right? If we're going to be doing this or this, what I need to see is a clean break back above the 4-week value high. Back above here, after flushing out this leverage here, then that's a clean long towards new highs. That's what I want to see. Conversely, if, we also have the scenario where Bitcoin just starts to continue to creep upwards. I mean, that's totally fine, right? Because we are already positioned for that lag upwards. But, at that point, we'll take a look at how we react at 105 to take more profits and so on. But until that happens, let's, keep an open mind that this can indeed flush lower. Another trade would be acceptance back within the 4-week value. And at that point, let's see how the H4 looks like. No, not that sexy. H2, for example. On the H2, we have a down close candle here before a structural break above these highs. Should we do this, take out the highs and then big flush lower, and then we consolidate here back below the 4-week value high, then this bearish breaker becomes an area of interest to me to look for potential shorts towards poor low there, fill in the fair value gap there into the 4-week point of control, which is confluent with, if I'm going to be taking a look on the H12, I'd say for Bitcoin, even if we're flushing it lower, like initially, I would love to see this hold of support, right? This 4-week value high confluent with a 12-hour down close. Let's see that we do this. Good, right? However, if we go lower, then this is my last resort where I'm willing to bid Bitcoin for new highs, because if we lose that, well, then it's lights out in my opinion. We're going to go towards, I don't know, maybe these lows again. So is that clear in terms of the narrative for the upcoming week, the hypos, and so on? Let me know in the chat, because this is Bitcoin. That was Bitcoin. And if everything is clear, if there are no further questions, we're going to be taking a look at Ethereum and some of the altcoins here. And I've got some time left, so let me take a sip of my tea. And like Juden says, if you want to support me, like it genuinely helps me, leave me a like on today's stream. Oh yeah, so great question. We had that within the chat. Do you use volume profiles in confluence with TPO? If not, why? That's a great question. So what I tend to do is volume profile essentially is almost identical to VWAP, right? VWAP is based on volume with a standard deviation 1 and -1. So almost identical. I use a volume-based VWAP layout, of course. But for TPO, I'm using a time-based calculation for my value areas and a volume-based calculation for my point of control. That's how I like to do it. And that is mainly because of the way how I trade TPO. I use it to merge composites. And due to the differences between certain exchanges, I think, using a time-based calculation for your value area is a bit more reliant within crypto, right? Because there can be huge discrepancies between, for example, Binance, Coinbase, and so on. So that's why I prefer to use time-based calculation for value and a volume-based calculation for point of control. Acceptance rejection of value high here means confirmation on the daily close. I'm not sure. Can you repeat that question, or can you rephrase that? Do we have weekly or monthly open blocks on targets below current price on Bitcoin? Weekly and monthly profiles, like you mean in the form of naked point of controls? Yeah, we got some all the way around 88K. And let's undo this. Do we have any? No, we don't. So huge amount of single prints here as well. So, let's just hope value, like this is basically the only chart that you actually need. This is telling us that value is slowly migrating higher. Each week we're migrating higher. So, for Bitcoin to remain bullish, we need to maintain that value high. Otherwise, we're just going to be playing the rotation within that weekly composite, and that's it. All right. Great question, though. Good question. Moving towards Ethereum. What I want to see for Ethereum is, if I'm taking a look on the H12 here, right here, I'm a bit annoyed because I had some limit orders set here within this H12 down close candle. Pretty sure you guys here within the stream front run me, but it is what it is. We've got the previous month value high at 34.65, and that was my, this is support until proven otherwise. It was confluent with this H12 down close candle. I had some bids here, didn't fill me, right? And then we closed back above the developing year value, developing quarterly value. So from a higher time frame perspective, Ethereum looks great, right? Even if we were to break all the way down within this block here, it would still look great for a move towards the highs. So I'll have to see how this develops. Let me quickly see how the labels are showing. If I don't have this set on, let's just remove this for a sec. Right here as well. Right there. And then we're going to be using this like that. Right, let's take a look. So we've got the developing week VWAP, developing month VWAP, previous week VWAP here, developing week value high, developing month value high, previous week. All right. So no surprise. Let's just creep this upwards towards that right there. Previous week VWAP was up here, right there. So I think for Ethereum, developing week VWAP, what I want to see heading into next week for me to get bullish, if we can sweep the lows like that within support and close above the developing week, which will be the previous week tomorrow, and the developing month VWAP, right? At that point, I think we can look for longs towards these highs. It's still looking good because we're trading above all key points in my opinion. Of course, it will be highly dependent on Bitcoin, but we'll see how it develops, right? So grinding higher with new value each day is positive. Yeah, it's positive in my opinion. As long as value is migrating higher and volume confirms it, then yeah, we can look for higher prices, sure. So Ethereum, right? Simplistic view here. As long as we trade above, you know, you could even argue that this H12 mitigation, spiking to this level, close back above previous week VWAP, clear long towards poor highs here, and potentially even this high. So, you know, looking good. What else do we have? We've got Solana. Let's take a look. I think Sol actually looks great here. This is just a typical crypto setup here, where we have the previous month VWAP as our key point right there. This is the range high, range low. We are not able to accept above previous month value high. So essentially what Solana is doing is it is auctioning between previous month VWAP and the previous month value high. We swept this low as a deviation. We then had a market structure break, and we are currently retesting this as support. So if Bitcoin behaves, and that's a big if, but if Bitcoin does not shit the bed, then I think Sol will get some upside potential here. This is basically the last line in the sand. This needs to hold to avoid a move back all the way down towards the previous month value low. All right, but all in all, so far it's looking good. Then we've got Doge here. You know, I said it within the stream within Discord last week, I believe, guys, where I said, you know, we are trading below that previous month and developing quarter value high. It's not looking too sexy here with that rejection. We've got equal lows. We've got this range low here. We have a weekly swing high, and I think the actual, like the best long setup for this pair would be a big flush lower in this gray area, reclaim the range. Then that will be a long that I'm willing to play for higher prices, or acceptance above that previous month and the developing quarter value high. Until then, diddle in the middle, right? Don't touch that until we start to reclaim or break below a key contextual point. Bonk, seeing a whole lot of posts about this. It's telling us one thing, right? This is that trade that I was talking about where we swept it, and I said, right, we have that structural break here. Any pullback into this level, you know, needs to hold for a move towards the highs. We didn't even get to sweep the high, right? And then we saw that flush lower when Bitcoin broke lower. That actually pushed Bonk back below previous month VWAP. So that's bearish, right? Look at the interaction here. We are unable to hold above. And in my opinion, as long as you trade below, you don't really want to be touching it. So what I can see though is if this ends up being a deviation and it breaks back above previous month VWAP, don't be stubborn and start to short this. Look for that continuation play towards the value high, right? If we do that. You're really a chill trader, mate. I appreciate that, man. Sorry, I'll try to rephrase. So let's say we accept above value high. Which time frame show a strong sign? No, so in terms of acceptance, let me just show you value area high, right? Or no, matter of fact, let me just show you on TPO because we just covered this within the stream right here. I don't really care about time frames. Like each block is 30-minute time frame, right? Like TPO is based on a 30-minute time frame. What I need to see when I'm looking at TPO, for example, or assume that this is a 30-minute time frame bar chart, I need to see this. So it doesn't really matter to me whether or not it's going to be like a hourly time frame, daily time frame, 12-hour time frame. I don't really care. But as long as I get this, like a move away and some time and space between the actual retest, then that's a genuine shift in condition for me to consider to get long. I had a great example on Ethereum, by the way, which I showed you guys right here. 30-minute time frame, I believe. Yeah, this is it. All right, so let me just first, let's remove this right there. And let's remove this right here. All right, so focus in this case. Let me just, is this on, fuck this. The drawing is on alert. I'm not going down there anyway, so let's remove it. Let's remove this one as well. So I want you to focus on this chart and especially on the developing quarter value area high and the developing year value area high. When Ethereum broke below or tried to accept below these two key points, it failed to do so and it was auctioning above, right? Do you see, this is a 30-minute time frame. Do you see the gap here? This gap between that retest there, and then we accept it back above, right there, this candle. Do you see that? This right here, that's where you long. That's the confirmation that you can, you can just tell yourself, all right, well, right now I have waited for it to show me the willingness to go higher, the time and space between the retest. I want to be a buyer there. This is acceptance, guys. Mark it out. This is what you want to see. Let me ask you guys here. Previous week VWAP, okay? When we're trading here, this is resistance. This right here, when we get a 30-minute bar close there, do you think that this, are you going to be like, oh, well, we're getting a 30-minute rotation close above previous week VWAP, we're accepting above? No, we're not. It's not based on a time frame close. It is based on time and space. Let me rephrase it. Time and space. Or maybe I should sing it, right? We need to have a bit of room here, right? We need to have this. You'll remember this. We need to have this, right? That you need to be able to draw this. If you aren't able to draw this, then it's not acceptance. If you are able to draw this, then it's acceptance. Okay, that's it. I think this is the best way how I can describe it. God damn. All right. So all right, makes sense. Tap tap tap. You need to have Hawk to Pika. Yeah, you know, right? Okay. So that's it. So let me just move forward, all right? Because we've got a shit ton to cover and I need to wrap it up as well. So bonk, we did that XRP. Let's move towards XRP. In the previous stream, guys, I said, XRP is trading above all-time high. I don't know if it was the last week's stream or 2 weeks before that, but I said, if you want to be a buyer, mark out the H12 order block around the all-time high. I haven't changed this chart, right? Look at this. Boop, do the tick. And then there we go. So this was a great long opportunity. Right now, H4 maybe, I would say the range that I would have my eye on would be this short-term range. And that was the Latina shit. You guys saw that tweet, right? Bro, I saw that tweet about the Colombian girls. Like, who knows what Colombian girls have in common? I was like, bro, there's only one legit answer to that. And if you don't know it, then we don't ball with each other, right? That was so fun. That was so funny, man. But, that's it. So for me, XRP, for those of you who requested it, this down close candle before this move upwards, small gap here. Any pullback into this level after rejecting at the all-time high needs to hold for a move towards the equal highs, all right? Ship looks dog shit. WIF looks not good as well. Let me just go towards the ones that you... I saw one guy about Pepe here. I think this right here. Let me take a brief look on this one with VWAP real quick because I want to make sure. Altcoins. And let's pull up our green friend here. So yearly, again, sometimes guys ask me like, does it work on VWAP? Yes, of course it works on VWAP. Look at the interaction with VWAP here. Boom, towards the highs. We're kind of consolidating here. So as we can see, quarterly developing value has been supporting ever since we got the Coinbase. Oh no, it wasn't Coinbase. What was it? It was Robinhood, right? Where it got listed on Robinhood, I think. And then it pushed really high and then it's on consolidation. It's failing to close back within quarterly developing value. right here, support, auction, higher. Like, look at this interaction. We're going to be showing this in a bit. But do you guys see this? This is exactly what I just covered on the other altcoins, where, you know, we are trading at a contextual level in the form of a quarterly developing value area high. Look at your regular trades, right? Swing low, sweep to swing low, market structure break, retest into the level, right? Boom, towards all-time high. So I'd say the fact that we're trading within monthly value isn't necessarily something that I like. We have previous month value high there. All right, let's take a look at the chart. And we have the developing quarter value area high around here. Developing quarter value area high. Developing month VWAP as well. Previous month value area high as well. And then we have developing month value high. This developing week value area high will be the previous week value area high tomorrow. Goedenavond, maat. Alles lekker? Even kijken. 4. Developing week. All right, let's get rid of this. So I would say, moving back towards the H12 chart, this was the actual setup that I just said about, you know, that H12 within quarterly developing value, right? We swept the low, market structure break, retest it. Look at the interaction here at the developing quarter in the previous month. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Now we're breaking above. Within this block, we've got another 12-hour down close candle here. So it's looking pretty good. Again, all altcoins, and I just want to emphasize this, guys, everything that we outlined today, it's highly dependent on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin tomorrow opens up and it starts to shit itself back towards 90K, then I can draw whatever the fuck I want on a developing quarter value high. But altcoins are only higher beta to Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin goes up, altcoins go up even more. Bitcoin goes down, altcoins go down even more, okay? So this low right here, I'd say, should we sweep it? I'm not sure if we do, but if we do, then this is what you want to be seeing hold a support. Confirmation, in my opinion, that we're going to go for new highs again would be acceptance above that upcoming previous week value. Simple as. Chill guy, did we say that? Chill guy is just shitting this. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't touch this. It was unfortunate because we did see an initial good reaction here, then we just slowly lower. I think something happened, didn't it? Like I saw some news about it, but to me, I don't know. Basically trading at last resort, if you were to ask me. Like we've got this daily down close candle. Maybe form a base here. I don't know. I don't really see a genuine trade at this point on chill guy. So it's not as chill as I wanted to see, all right? So the requests, Eve, how do you say this? Eve, I don't know. But what I do know is that it is looking like it wants to sweep the developing month value high into an old yearly VWAP. In my opinion, looking at the H12 here, like we've got an H12 high volume bar here in the middle of the fair value gap there. So I'd say I usually tend to wait with these trades. When we're consolidating like this on altcoins, I want to see some downside first, and then let's say that we form a, you know, a down close candle. Like is there a good do we have a good example in this case? I don't know, for example, like this, right, where we start to base out, form a down close candle like that, right? We can see the interactions. Then I want to get involved, right? Then I want to get involved at every down close candle before a bullish engulfing H12, right? Bullish engulfing H12. So this is not the best example because this is where Bitcoin shit the lows, in my opinion, if I remember this correctly. But what I would like to see is maybe something along the lines of a down close candle here. I don't know how low it's going to go. Maybe it's going to be getting capped by the high volume point of control. But the next candle will be important because if it's a bullish engulfing H12, then I think that's a long, because this will need to hold a support for continuation higher. That's how I will play it. Then we've got I don't even know how to pronounce this, but you can see the ticker here up here. I don't want to make a fool of myself. In terms of VWAP, let's take a brief look here on VWAP right here. I I think it looks great. Where, you know, from a higher time frame perspective, we saw it auction back within previous quarterly value there. Next likely destination was the VWAP here. Then we accepted above. Huge flush lower though, but we are not able to close back within previous year value. And as long as we're not able to close back within previous year value, it remains bullish to me, right? We'll have to see. I think the fact that we're forming a base here at the lower bands of the developing month value area low, I think we might be setting another low here before continuation higher. So it's looking good to me. I don't see an intermediate trade. Let's take a look how this looks on, for example, the H4. Yeah, the ticker is still alive. Yeah, and a lot of people traded actually. You know what? Usually daily. A threshold for me usually is the 50% of the wick, but I think we already did that, like, or we just missed it. I don't know. I think. Let me just see if I can see something interesting. So high to low. I mean, sweep lows, then reclaim it. I don't see an intermediate trade for you to be like, I think that this is what you need to be trading. I think from a higher time frame perspective, it's looking pretty good because the inability to close back below previous year value area low. But short-term trades, I don't see any at this point. Sometimes when price comes within the OBs, it just stay there and hold, but sometimes we see a quick reaction. Yeah, it truly depends on the previous interaction within that order block. But I think that's where, you know, looking at order flow and, for example, on a trend reversal chart makes sense because you're aware that you can see, like, you can have a look under the hood, so to say, to see what's happening within the rotation. But that's why I don't really like to use limit orders, right? I like to see the initial reaction. Ultimately, I want to see like a high volume bar or something along those lines to get into trades. But, you know, for this particular ticker, like, higher time frame, yeah, it's looking good. However, short term, I'm not too certain because yes, we're seeing interaction here with the quarterly VWAP. What will be a good trade in my opinion is let it just bleed out here, let it do its thing, and then when we have new quarterly value, that's when the real trade comes into play. Because if we spike into previous quarterly VWAP once more and we form a low, then this is a trade that I want to be in, right? Not this weird stuff here where it's pinched between 3 different time frames, right? Or acceptance above previous quarterly value high, because that's a shift in condition on the quarter, right? Also really bullish. So I would suggest, you know, if there's no intermediate, like I don't see anything at this point, maybe you see it, but I don't. So I would say wait a bit for that break in value. Yeah, Bridges, ideally I would like to see a high volume bar within the order block, to be honest. But, you know, if you write down that question and we can cover it within the Discord this week. We can go over some examples and help me remind, okay? Because otherwise I tend to forget. Getting too old. Right, moving forward. We've got this one right here. We can't use yearly value. So even though it's looking good, we can't use it because we have not enough data here within this ticker at this point. However, what we can use here is this previous quarterly value, and we can see the significance. Do you guys see this? Where, you know, we just went over this on how do I pronounce Wi-Fi, I don't know, but you know what I mean, right? When we accept back within previous quarterly value, this is again time and space. Do you guys see that gap? Retest it to the tick. Where do we go? The opposite side of value here, right there. Look at that trade. You can do anything that you want, but these are the trades. Like, you get it. Yeah. You know what I mean, right, Kevin? Like, don't do me dirty, right? Don't do me dirty, bro. So if I were to put this information and I would do it on a regular chart here, I'd say, do I have this right here? Why don't I have that on the chart? Let me just take a look. We've got 1.15. Let me make up this chart view. 1.15. 1.15. Quarterly value high. I'm just going to be calling it like this. What's Bitcoin doing, by the way? Oh. 1.15. 0.94. 0.90. Coordinates 0. Just call it like that. Quarterly VWAP. And then we've got the value area low at 0.75, 0.75. Value area low. And this was that trade. If I were to draw this as a profile, right here, distribution, point of control, right? That's the VWAP, value area high, value area low. Look at that. Time and space, retest, boom. There we go. Even if you miss this trade, market structure break, H4 order block there, long entry. Boom, there we go. Another one. Boom, there we go, right? So what do I want to see from this point on? H12. It's looking a bit like ass, if I'm being honest, because the H12 isn't looking too hot. We've got a range here, range high, and then we've got the range low. H4. And what, I don't know what this coin exactly does, but H2, what do we do? So what stands out to me at this point is the poor low right there, the equal lows. What I do know is that I'm not a huge fan in looking for longs right now, because the H2 on altcoins, I don't necessarily take trades based on the H2. It's mainly H4 and H12. H12 is closing within 4 hours, so let's see how that looks. But for longs, for longer term longs, I would prefer to see a bit of a range, spike into that quarterly value area high, and then hold a support, similar to what we saw right there. Okay. We can even see here on a higher time frame perspective, we push back into the H12, hold a support for continuation higher. That's something that I would like to see. Right now, I don't see anything that I can tell you, like for the person that requested this. I can't really say that, yeah, you should definitely be looking for longs right here, for example, because matter of fact, if I'm taking a look on the H12, this is starting to show signs of a, at least a lower time frame distribution where we spiked above the highs. If we get a market structure break, let's say that this candle closes like that below the lows, then we're getting a retest, and then maybe combined with Bitcoin taking a shit lower, then I'd see then I'm just seeing dick patterns all over this fucking chart. Then I would say get a flush towards the lows, right? That's what I would trade. God damn. All right, but you get my point. The dick pattern caught me off guard, bro. Let's take a look at Bitcoin Eats Sunday, Monday. Want to see something? Yeah, sure, bro. Let me just finish up with Link and Jasmine. I just went over. I can't pronounce this shit. Ivy. I just went over it. Scroll a bit back in the stream and you'll see me cover it. It's up here, right? I went over that one. So Chainlink here. We've got Trump buying it, right? So, and what else was he buying? He was buying a bunch of coins, but I thought, this was confirmed that he was actually buying it. So what I would prefer to see here, H12, let's see how this looks on a 3-day. 12 hour. Yeah, let's keep it like this. So again, if I were to draw this out as a profile, guys, it would have been this right here. Value area high, value area low. This is the point of control. By taking into account the previous analysis that we did, and with the patterns that we saw on some particular coins, I think it is safe to assume that once we saw acceptance back within developing year value, and I think, listen, pay attention to this, because right here we got that bro, I feel like I'm 13 drunk dicks on a chart, but do you now see the point, guys? Time and space between the retest, and then we auctioned higher again, right? That's bullish. And now we're getting the same consolidation. Apologies. We're getting the same consolidation here. We have a market structure break purely based on yearly value. I'd say it is safe to say that a move towards previous year value high could definitely be on the cards. But for that to occur, I would prefer to see 26.1 hold a support. So if we were to do something like this and then, you know, close back above, I think this is a good long opportunity for a move towards developing year value high and potentially the swing high, right? And then, you know, to finish this, to round this off here, before I'm going to be taking a look at what Grant said, is if we're taking a look at the daily, you know, at least leave me a like on the stream, right? For all of the dick patterns that I've been drawing. Like, if my friends see this shit, me drawing dicks on a Sunday evening, I mean, I don't know. So the last one on a daily time frame. Let's see. Jasmine. So the yearly acceptance above, quarterly, monthly, previous quarterly value at 0.034, 0.034, 0.034. This is a previous quarter value high. Not necessarily the previous quarter, but an old previous quarter value high. Confluent with a mitigation, right? We've got an up close candle. It was capping upside, then we closed back above. Retest is longs. But what I don't really like, let's see, what is this based on? Oh, it's based on this chart. Oh, damn. We actually highlighted this. For who was it? Are you within the stream today as well? I remember this. I think it was Swing, to be honest, his name. Where I said, you know, if we're coming back into this gap with the yearly value low and you're long, he was building a long position, I believe, from down here. And I said, this is where you want to be scaling out partially at least. Because we had a fair value gap here into the yearly value area low. Confluent with range high. And now we're closing back within. So I don't really know what I have to think about this one at this point. Because we genuinely rejected at that single print there. Let's take a look at VWAP again. The quarterly value is holding though. But I don't see an intermediate trade. What I would like to see is maybe like the trade that I'm seeing here right now that kind of stands out is I would prefer to wait 2 weeks. And that will give me new monthly value. It will give me new previous quarter value, right? And at that point, I can decide if we're going to be auctioning towards previous month value low. And we do this, I'll long it. Confirmation would be, let's say that we do this, confirmation will be acceptance above previous quarterly value high. That's when I think the fun really starts on this coin. But until then, I mean, this is not something that I'm really too eager in trading on this particular coin. So I would rather wait for new quarterly and monthly value and then base quality trades on that, all right? Grant, what was your question regarding Bitcoin? Let me just go over that. So on Sunday, let's mark out the Sundays. Let's use a different chart. Make sure that it's blank. You want me to mark out Sundays? Cross today's Sunday. Whoops. Sunday. See, this was, yeah, I already know. This is what I'm thinking as well. This one right here. Sunday. What time is the US Open on UTC? Can you remind me? Is it 15:30 UTC? 15:30-ish? Something like that? I always mix it up. So Sunday, and then Monday, probably this. Right here. Probably here. 50. Can anybody in the chat tell me what's US Open on UTC? I think it's probably here. No, of course it's not. I think it's this one. 14. I think nobody knows. we're with a good bunch. But yeah. And I think, you know, if we're getting something along those lines, probably that, right? Sunday, Monday, 13, 14. I think it's 15:30, right? But still, what time does it open? What time do they? Like 9:30? 15:30, right? 15:30. Yeah, 15:30. All right. 15:30 UTC. Okay, let me just outline that for you. 15:30 red. No, yellow. 15 Sunday, Monday. 15:30. Yeah, I think, you know, that's something that... What do we have here? Oh, we don't have anything. And right here we have Monday, 15:30. 15:30. Where are you at? Push back up into the New York Open and then auction low. I don't know. What did you want to see? Like, can you tell me what you saw within the chart? The flush lower, you mean? Like the push up into the open and then continuation lower. It's 14:30. No, it's 15. I don't know, guys. Who cares? Doesn't really matter about the actual hour. I think the dynamic here is pretty straightforward that Graham wants to put out. Where, you know, if we're going to go lower, it's probably going to be one final push during the open and then we puke. Yeah, I think if we're taking a look at this from a daily perspective right here, like this was the same, I had the same feeling here as well. Sunday, everybody getting really bullish. On Monday, big flush. If we're getting a similar playbook here, then I think that's the flush that you want to be buying. Sunday, Monday. One sec, let me just check. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No, Monday, Tuesday. So we have this at 1 week, Sunday up, Monday down. Then we've got Sunday up, Monday down. 2 weeks. Then we've got Sunday up, Monday down. But this time is different, bro. Trust me, this time is different. It's not going to be the 4th time in a row. But that's a good point. That's a great, you spotted that well. So if this were to be true, then it basically only confirms what we were never trust the 4th. So yeah, you got that right, bro. But yeah, that's what we said at the beginning of the stream as well, Grant, when we were just debating what the hypos for this week are. And I said this current leg upwards is there's a whole lot of, like, that's a huge amount of effort here that is being put into for just in my opinion, a relatively small move higher, right? So if this is, you know, if tomorrow we're going to be getting a flush like it has been the playbook now, as you highlighted for the past couple of 4 weeks, I think any flush back within that 4-week value high, it needs to close above for me. If we're getting it, I think this is the buying opportunity for higher prices heading into the week. If we get this and then we struggle to reclaim that 4-week value high and reject, well, shit, pack up your bags because we're going to go towards the POC and the value low, in my opinion. So yeah. All right. And with that, guys, I would like to wrap it up. I think that's a good one. We've got an hour-long stream. We went over Bitcoin, Ethereum, a bunch of altcoins, Peter Schiff in the books. I was drawing dick patterns all over the chart as well. So I think it's a good one, right? I will see whether or not I'm going to be doing a midweek stream next week. It's a bit of a busy week for me in real life, but if I don't do one, I will see you guys within the Discord. And for those who are not, I will see you guys next week on Sunday. Thank you all for attending the stream. Have a fantastic day, evening, afternoon, depending on where you are, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.